Hey, welcome. I hope you all are doing very, very, very well. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Today's reading is what is the gossip on you? What is the talk around the town? Okay. So, I guess you can have like certain environments in mind or certain groups of people in mind before you choose your group. Um, but yeah, okay. So, we have three groups for you to choose from. Group one, the soda light. Group 2, the Rainbow Moonstone, and Group 3, the Herkimer Diamond. Okay, so Group 1, 2, and 3. What is the gossip about you? If you do need a moment to choose your group, feel free to pause the video for a moment. But I will see you guys in your readings. Okay, welcome. If you've chosen the first group, the Soda Light, then this reading is for you. What is the gossip about you at the moment? All right, so we have the Emperor in reverse, we have the King of Cups in reverse, and the Two of Cups upright. Okay, so the gossip on you, please don't take any messages that don't make sense. I don't want anyone feeling paranoid or, stuff like that. So yeah, and this may not resonate with everyone as well. So just, use your discernment and all that stuff, right? But I am going to, as always, be as honest as possible, okay? So the gossip on you is that you may not take responsibility. For some of you, this could be about money. For some of you, maybe in terms of like impulsive spending, so people could talk about you being impulsive when it comes to money. For some of you, people could say that maybe you're, selfish in regards to money. But this doesn't even really feel like you being selfish with your own money, but possibly being selfish in regards to someone else's finances. For some of you, it could be stingy, it may not be selfish. It doesn't really feel like helping someone financially, like you're not selfish in that way. It could just be that people gossip about you not taking financial responsibility or ownership at times. It feels like people talk about you maybe avoiding financial obligations or promises. Like maybe you made a financial, promise to someone and didn't come through, and this person is talking about it. It could even be something like, when it's like joint finances are involved, maybe going on holiday with someone and maybe you didn't, you know, fulfill your financial obligations, and maybe in deciding not to go, for example, on that trip. So it could be something like that. Um, some people could be gossiping about you owing another person money. It feels like people also talk about you being quite passive aggressive towards them and maybe people in general. But the thing is, this doesn't really feel like strangers that are talking about you. It feels like people that you could be quite close to. I don't know if it's like friends or acquaintances, but this could be people. Let me see. It's like you could see these people regularly, or semi-regular. And there are some people like talking about you being manipulative, maybe emotionally manipulative. Like some people, talk about you playing the victim at times, especially in situations when you're the aggressor. Or, I'm not saying you're the aggressor, but like in another person's perspective, there are people gossiping about you. Like some people talk about not believing you, like they find it very hard to believe, things that you say. They talk about you maybe generally being quite dishonest, even if these are like little white lies. Um, but yeah, it could be friends and acquaintances that could be saying this stuff. The gossip is that you require a lot of attention and you expect other people to maybe cater to you and take responsibility for you, or, or your stuff or your responsibilities. They talk about you kind of making other people's life difficult because other people are, constantly carrying you in these people's, perspective. But yeah, people talk about you not being the best of friend, no, the best, the best friend to them, because you can be selfish. They could perceive you as maybe even obnoxious at times. Maybe controlling and possessive. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe obsessive even for some of you guys. Like you can make some of your friends or some of the acquaintances or people in your life, or it feels like one particular person, it feels like you can make one particular person feel quite insecure, um, through some of the things that you've said. And this is something that they do talk about with other people. And that was clarified by the devil. I lost that card, but they do think you try to help, but oftentimes you can make things maybe more complicated, or worse when you do try to help. But yeah, people also talk about you not appreciating what they do for you. Someone talks about you being a narcissist, People do gossip about you being quite impulsive. For some of you, this does feel like it could be specifically when it comes to love. But I'm hearing like more specifically lust. That's funny, Ace of Wands. So yeah, people do talk about you being quite impulsive when it comes to maybe your attraction to people, and maybe you quite like passionate, and you kind of just follow those feelings, and that's what certain people are talking about. People talk about you not being able to see how you can possibly be pushing other people away. Like they think you don't see your unhealthy traits, or your traits that can maybe negatively impact you and negatively impact other people. A few of them could call you like a bit delusional because of it, because in their opinion you just don't see maybe where you're going wrong at times. Um, but yeah, they do talk about how you can be like kind of oblivious, but they also talk about you being maybe unemotional, and maybe even oblivious to how other people are feeling. But they like you, so it feels like these people aren't just willing to like walk away from you or like abandon you or anything like that. And they may even feel like being there for you is like the best solution all round, if they do kind of keep you close and, do what they can in their power to help you when you need it, and stuff like that. But they also say that someone so mature maybe shouldn't be acting the way you do at times. People do talk about you being emotionally chaotic, like up, down, happy, sad, angry, funny, I don't know. But it's like an emotional roller coaster, and some people do discuss that. People are also talking about you wanting to be in a relationship. but they also feel like you may not know what you want in terms of like a proper relationship. People do talk about you possibly holding a grudge and other people holding a grudge towards you. They say that you aren't the most compassionate, and there are a few people saying like they refuse to be compassionate towards you because they feel like you don't deserve it, especially if you don't like kind of give other people that same energy. But I have to say, like, it does feel like there is like one person or like a very specific someone. Let me see. Could even be more than one person that was clarified by the Three of Cups. But it feels like there are a group of people who also like defend you and like they're in your corner type thing, you know? Um, yeah, but they defend you by saying that you are quite supportive of them. The gossip on you at the moment is that you can be very negative and that you maybe say harsh things when you communicate. This could be in reference to the person that you make feel insecure when you're harsh, um, or very negative. But people generally maybe talk about you having a communication style that is a bit different from their own. And people also talk about you knowing a lot of people. But anyways, that is all I have for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it can make sense and be helpful. I'm wishing you the best. Bye. Hey, welcome. If you've chosen the second group, the Rainbow Moonstone, then this reading is for you. So, what is the gossip on you, guys and girls? So, we have the World upright, we have Eight of Cups upright, and the Six of Swords. Oh my god, so we have the World, we have the Eight of Cups, and we have the Six of Swords. Like, all of these cards represent like closure in some way, walking away, healing, transitioning, new cycles. It just feels like this energy just screams maybe even closure, even. But there's something about growth, there's something about, walking away. Let me see. Anyways. I mean, for some of you, this could be like a confirmation, like, separate from the reading. Like, a lot of you could be going through that process of changing, growing, transitioning, but it does feel like it feels like you already, understand and know the transition that you're going through. So I don't feel like I need to say too much about that. But it does feel like your guides just want to give you that extra confirmation to continue doing what you're doing, maybe continue with the intentions that you have set for yourself, and continue to grow and continue to close out cycles and stuff like that. But anyways, okay. In terms of your reading, the gossip on you is that you are growing, that it seems like you are or you will eventually leave a lot of things and maybe even people behind eventually, maybe an environment, maybe a way of living. People do talk about you taking steps towards success. You're very focused on that next chapter that was clarified by the Sun, and kind of like maybe seeing what else there is out there for you. But yes, some people say that they are afraid, because you are taking steps towards bettering yourself, towards success, towards a next level in your life. Some people do say that they are afraid that one day they'll no longer have access to you because you would have outgrown them. The gossip on you is that you maybe love to travel, or you have, big travel goals, and they kind of see you reaching those travel goals and stuff like that. They do mention you like to have fun. People talk about you being quite fast paced. You know, you're always on the go, you're always doing something, always keeping busy. You know, even if that's outside your house or inside your house. Or for some of you, like people just talk about how your days just seem quite full. You know, your days seem quite fulfilling as well. People do talk about you not having a lot of time for them. There are certain people who do talk about you not having a lot of time for them. This could be old friends. Like you would still consider them friends. Maybe you don't see them that much or speak to them that much. But there is, like, you know, some old friends that are talking about you not having, you know, the most time for them. There are a lot of people talking about not knowing you very well because you don't really answer their questions. Like maybe you don't kind of like give a lot away. Like I know some people just love talking about their life story, and maybe people perceive you as someone who just doesn't really do that. Um, but having said that, people also gossip or talk, should I say, about feeling close to you regardless of you choosing not to share much about yourself or what you have going on. People do talk about you having trust issues, but it also feels like they fully understand why you do, and they don't take it personal. It's because like maybe you're not suspicious, you know, maybe you're not overly defensive, like, but maybe you're, you know, just a little bit cautious, right? Okay, and careful, and maybe just take a while to warm up. But at the same time, like people do feel really close to you, so it doesn't really matter that they don't know everything about you straight away, you know. Um, but yeah, there are people who say um, that there are a lot of people who put you on a pedestal, you know. People do talk a lot about you being quite kind and generous. It feels like people rarely have a bad word to say about you, honestly. Like they talk about you being a gem and like being one of the good ones, like seriously. Like a lot of people would trust you with their life, right? People talk about you being very wise and mature. Some people talk about you not being able to suffer fools, you know, but you mainly stay out of the drama. Like you don't get involved in the drama, even if someone is rubbing you the wrong way. Like maybe you know just won't really fuck with that person like that, you know, but you don't um go out your way to like cause trouble with these people or person or whatever. So yeah, people do talk about you kind of staying out of the drama. The gossip on you is that honestly you are quite a peaceful person who always tries to seek a positive resolution. You know, a lot of people do talk about you being out of their reach now, and they regret that it's gotten to a point where you are out of their reach. This feels like potential lovers that mostly talk about this. But these are potential lovers that you may still see, maybe may still be in contact with, or you have them on social media and they kind of see what you're up to and stuff like that. Maybe you guys have mutual friends, but it does feel like they talk about like regretting not um, making something happen with you, you know? But yeah, for some of you, it could be people you grew up with as well. Like for some of you, maybe a cousin, aunts, uncles. It feels like extended family. For some of you, they are saying they wish they could have stopped you from isolating yourself from them, or at least, you know, they regret not finding out the reason why you may have isolated yourself or kind of distanced yourself. Um, but if there have been like certain people that you have, you know, distanced yourself from or outgrown even, they do think they know why you did, but they aren't like they aren't certain, you know. But yeah, they do say that they wish things were different. People do talk about you nearly being at the end of a cycle and you being ready to hit new heights, reach new levels, meet new goals. The gossip on you is that you do seem very motivated, you are very ambitious, and people do talk about you knowing exactly what your life purpose is, you know exactly what you want out of life, and about you living in your purpose, and that no one can make you feel like you don't belong because of how connected you feel or you are to everything around you, you know? Um, for some of you, this could be like, especially nature, like people could say you love your nature, you love being out in nature, maybe you like being near lakes or on beaches in the forest mountains, I don't know, but yeah, people do talk about you loving your nature or just laying out in your garden even, you know what I mean, or balcony, I don't know, but yeah, but people do talk about you being very open-minded, like they say you are very genuine and down to earth, responsible as well, but also maybe a little bit reserved. Like they do say you keep your cards close to your chest more time, People do gossip about you not looking back. Okay, these could be people from the past again, or maybe even people in your present that have kind of realized that you don't look back or you wouldn't look back if But anyways, so it's like they do talk about once you have moved forward and moved on from something, that there's no going back for you, but people do gossip about you possibly abandoning other people when you need to, like if you're not afraid to like jump ship, you're not. Hold on, let me make sure. It's like for some of you, people could talk about how you're not gonna let other people bring you down. Like you're not gonna let other people negatively impact you or your growth, because especially because you do like people do see you as having such clear focus for your life and what you want, maybe the people around you, and they know you don't like drama as well, these people, so they kind of understand why you are just not gonna um allow someone to bring you down. And I don't know if, was it this group or it could have been another group, but I feel like it was this group actually, but also because you don't suffer fools, or in these people's perspectives you don't suffer fools, so you're not going to allow someone to bring you down, um so yeah, they do think you have this great discernment and you help other people heal as well. That's another thing people talk about. um they also mention you offering great advice. People do gossip about you being very emotionally strong and resilient. And they do say, like, when to leave a bad situation. That could be what, that jump ship reference was about as well. But that is all I have, though, for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it can make sense and be helpful. But I'm wishing you the best. Bye. Hey guys, welcome. If you've chosen the third group, the Herkimer Diamond, then this reading is for you. Okay, so what is the gossip about you? So we have Ace of Swords, the Hierophant, Ace of Swords upright, Hierophant in reverse, and we also have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Alright, so the gossip on you is that you are honestly such a lovely person, um, but also like a lovely and great communicator. They talk about you being so kind and approachable. People do say you can tell the truth without being cruel, but they know that you don't tend to get involved with the BS anyway. But they do know that you are very honest, regardless. People do talk a lot about the amount of respect that they have for you, and this is coming from like a few different groups of people, like for example, people you work with, people you see at your local grocery store or gym, your family, your friends, people in the community or certain communities that you're a part of. But it feels like a lot of people have a huge amount of respect for you, for sure. And that's something other people talk about and something that other people notice. Um, it feels like people love talking to you because you are so playful. Like people feel like you're quite elevated, or maybe you make them feel elevated, or you're very attentive. But people love talking to you for these reasons, whether you're playful, whether you're elevated and energetic, or whether you're attentive and supportive, or maybe you're all of those things. But people love talking to you for those reasons. Um, people talk about you being a very attentive listener, or you're just very engaging. It's like, say, for example, someone's talking to you, you're able to kind of like ask questions that are like, specific to what this person is saying, or trying to understand more about what this person is saying. It's like you're not listening to this person just so that you can like reply. Like you're listening to these people so you can understand, and it feels like a lot of people notice that, and a lot of people appreciate it, and that's something that they talk about with other people, because it does feel like these people in particular, the people that love your communication style, think very highly of you, and they rarely have anything negative to say about you. But yeah, the gossip on you is that you are very funny as well. Like, people say you like to make jokes, and honestly, you rarely take things too seriously. Some people do say they worry they might not be able to have like a serious conversation with you, or talk about real or serious topics with you. Um, So people also talk about you being able to notice and pay attention to things that other people can't really see, or other people can't really like perceive. Um, they say that you do have this sharp awareness and great intuition, that no matter how close like they get to you, they never really know what you're thinking. Um, And people do say you seem kind of secretive, but they just see it as like one of your quirks. It like isn't really a big deal to them. They even find it quite endearing. But they also talk about you maybe hiding your pain, which they hate. They hate that you even feel that way and don't feel comfortable sharing it with them. They do gossip about you, um, you know, caring for and supporting other people, but you don't really allow people to do the same for you. They do talk about how it seems like you prefer to be free and independent, and that's why you kind of like to live life more privately. People talk about you being a very involved person, okay? Like maybe you're very involved with your work colleagues or your friends or in your community, or you're a very involved person, or if someone needs your help, you're very involved. Like you're, again, like it came up earlier, like people do talk about you being very attentive. Like when people are talking to you, you listen to understand what they're trying to say. Um, um, so yeah, like people over like overall, people do talk about how attentive you are. A lot of people also talk about you pushing someone or people to new heights. Uh, people also say you have a small circle of, close friends or family, but at the same time, you seem pretty open and friendly to the majority of people. Um, like the gossip on you is that you may seem kind, nice, and you are those things as well. Like some people that maybe don't know you too well could even, do you know what it is? That doesn't really feel like the message. It feels like, sorry. So it feels like there's someone that notices how kind you are, how generous you are, and they're like, hey, some people maybe perceive that as naive. Um, but say that people shouldn't be fooled, because you come across this way at times, because you are also like very smart. Yeah, so the gossip on you is that you do lend people a new perspective. It's like you offer people a new perspective, you offer people a different way of thinking or different way to look at something, but you don't get involved in their decision making. It's like maybe you give people the information and you allow them to make, their decisions by themselves. Like, um, it's like even though even though you may know what's best in a certain situation, for whatever reason, maybe, experience yourself, um, like you don't, try to like influence people to make certain decisions, you allow people to kind of do that for themselves. People say like you always have fresh ideas, you always have new perspectives on things, like you're always opening up their mind to new things, like you're always kind of like open, with new information that you've learned, or you always like have new things to talk about, and like that's another reason why people love talking to you, honestly. A lot of people find you exciting and fun and interesting because you know so much, or that's how people perceive you, like you know so much. Like every time I see you, I'm learning something new, like that's awesome, and that's how people see it. Um, yeah, so that's why people love talking to you. They love learning from you. They love debating with you, like over like this is in regards to varying, topics and subjects and the news, I don't know, stuff like that. But yeah, people talk about you being overall like a very independent thinker, that other people rarely influence your thoughts and your ideas. Um, some people do talk about you having an unconventional living situation. They may actually talk about this situation being difficult for you. Um, but yeah, like people also say that you may not have a lot of spiritual faith as well. But that is all I have, though, for those of you who chose this group. I do hope it could be helpful, makes sense. But I am wishing you guys the absolute best. Alright, please take care. Bye bye.